CNN projects that Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic candidate, will be elected the next mayor of New York, New York.
It is a major win from Zohran Mamdani, a candidate that was basically unknown to the city about a year ago.
Evening, comrades. I'm Linton Besser. Welcome to Media Watch. And the Big Apple was last week transformed into a Pinko-Lady, with a Democratic Socialist seizing power in the richest city in the world and vowing horror of horrors, a touch of wealth redistribution.
The 34-year-old promised free childcare, free transport and rent freezes, triggering the largest turnout in the city since 1969.
I will wake each morning with a singular purpose: to make this city better for you than it was the day before.
Mamdani's promises of a cheaper Manhattan, in defiance of the establishment, earned him in victory this New York Post page one for the ages.
The red apple.
On your marks.
Get set. Zo! Socialist Mamdani wins race for mayor.
A millennial mayor and a digital native whose rise and rise was incubated not by stuffy newspapers and television programs, but by smartphones and social media, prompting headlines like these.
Zohran Mamdani, the internet's mayor.
How Zohran Mamdani turns social media engagement into votes.
So how did he do it? And what, if anything, might it mean for political campaigning in the twilight of traditional news media? One of Mamdani's first breakthroughs was a video compilation of curbside interviews with New Yorkers so fed up with the system they voted for Trump.
We need childcare that is affordable. Buses should be free. The hike in the Metro cards is like totally unaffordable.
My name is Zohran Mamdani. I'm going to be running for mayor next year.
Befor long, social media popularity became the bedrock of Mamdani's mayoral campaign and needed constant tending with stunts like the polar bear plunge.
I'm freezing. You're wreck as the next mayor of New York City. Let's plunge into the detail.
And a fast food truck taste test.
New York is suffering from a crisis, and it's called halalflation.
Mamdani filled his social media with highly produced graphics and clips of authentic conversations and moments, which attracted tens of millions of views. At the poll, Mamdani won the support of 8 out of every 10 voters aged between 18 and 29, a constituency which consumes the news in a very different way.
I'm not watching linear cable. Like, literally, how do they find out about you? They're going to find out about you from their phones.
Zohran Mamdani's mastery of the smartphone stood in stark contrast to his rival, the independent former Democratic governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, whose attempts to connect with the youth of New York didn't quite hit the same mark.
I'm just a shelf. I'm gonna destroy the Big Apple.
Oh, God, please don't hate me.
With his AI-generated videos so outrageous, this one was swiftly deleted.
Mamdani will be a job creator for drug dealers.
Guilty!
But Mamdani says you're free to go.
Even Cuomo's attempts to copy Mamdani's relaxed, camera-friendly rhetoric fell flat, proving not everyone has what it takes and setting a new benchmark for political campaigning.
Politicians are realising that if you can't make noise for yourself on TikTok, YouTube and Instagram, you'll likely never win a race again. We're going to look back at Cuomo versus Zohran the same way we look at JFK versus Nixon in the first televised debate.
With his promises of hip pocket relief, Zohran Mamdani was merely tapping into a campaign strategy as old as money. What makes his victory something to think about, however, was the extent of its focus on vertical videos, shot and produced not for television, but smartphones, and the obvious traction it won him from a generation no longer reading newspapers or watching TV. Expect much more of this to come. And now to the $300 billion gaming industry, which has eclipsed film and music to become the largest sector of the entertainment economy, and which has us yelling ourselves hoarse at teenagers who just won't go to bed.
ROG Xbox LAX just arrived, so let's go ahead and get it unboxed. The Xbox LA is designed to look like an Xbox controller in the hands.
That's tech writer Shannon Grixty, who's helping peddle the wonders of the technology to no fewer than 160,000 followers.
It's a lot nicer to hold than the original ROG Ally. It's available to buy on the ASUS eShop, and stay tuned for my full thoughts.
Grixty's Instagram post about this ASUS-made handheld device was accompanied by a thoughtful review he published a few days later on Press Start, a gaming website operated by Southern Cross Austereo, where Shannon Grixty is in fact managing editor. Shannon's review was largely positive about the $1,600 gadget, whose display hadn't been updated but was still extremely fantastic, and spruiking the absolute ease with which you can jump between it and another console. Grixty was so excited about his little handheld, he popped up on the telly to praise its usefulness.
Australian gamers got a first look today at the new Xbox. The company has developed its first ever handheld console.
People are travelling, they're commuting to work 4 to 5 days a week. Like, you want to use that time to game.
What was that? ASUS ambassador? But how could that be? Because nowhere in Shannon Grixty's rather saccharine Press Start review was it disclosed that he was an MC at the launch of this very device as an ambassador for the company that manufactures it. Nor did he make it clear to readers of the Southern Cross Austereo website that his Instagram post about the console was in fact tagged as an ad. Shannon Grixty also has this personal link tree where he drives traffic to an Amazon page selling everything from phones to watches to ASUS keyboards, all of which, yes, puts a little coin in Shannon's pocket. But surely this was just a one-time slip-up, yeah? Because after all, Southern Cross Austereo's Press Start had its own code of ethics, which promised,
"We do not hold personal relationships with any of these developers, PR people or publishers."
and cited guidelines for its reviewers, which included a pledge
not to accept or offer any present, gift or consideration, or benefit or advantage of whatsoever kind.
But let's just double-check to be sure, shall we? Back in June, Grixty reviewed Lenovo's Legion Go handheld gaming device, describing it as the best of both worlds, and posting a video about the device the very same day to his personal YouTube channel, which, was marked as sponsored by Lenovo. And get this, the sponsored video and his Press Start review were almost word for word identical.
The original Lenovo Legion Go is still one of my favourite handhelds in existence because it did things so differently in a saturated handheld market. The newly released Legion Go S dials things back a little bit design-wise.
And no, not disclosed. In the last year alone, we found 18 instances, including these, where Shannon Grixty wrote about products for Southern Cross Austereo without any disclosure that when he posted about the products on his personal social media, they were marked as ads, which makes a mockery of the soaring rhetoric published by Southern Cross of the trust it has built with its audience. After we sent a bunch of questions to Southern Cross Austereo about this shabby little affair, its website was suddenly populated with disclosures of affiliate links. A spokesperson told us,
"We know maintaining the trust of our readers is essential, and we're strengthening our editorial and commercial processes to make sure these standards are clear and upheld."
Last week, we reported Southern Cross Austereo had embarked on a program of culling journalists and replacing them with AI, and never deigning to tell its audience. Now we discover the company's pledges of honourable dealings with the public are just as dubious. It's often fawning technology reviews riddled with undisclosed commercial dealings. Oh, and as for Shannon Grixty, who declined, by the way, to answer our questions, well, he's perfectly within his rights to go and make money from the booming gaming sector, but good luck to him if he also expects his readers to trust him. And now to Oklahoma City to watch its basketball franchise take on the Houston Rockets at the Paycom Center, and brought to our shores live at 10:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning last month.
This ESPN broadcast is brought to you by the Neds Punters Toolbox. Chances are you're about to lose.
A punt over brunch, nothing quite like it. And if you're that way inclined, live streaming giant Disney Plus has you sorted, because it was back the next morning with live coverage of the game between the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Going to be aggressive here to close the quarter. Only one shot prior to that.
Big game, Savo. What do we like?
Me? I like something a little hot.
Fire up your NBA season with PointsBet. Yeah, that's built different. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
And don't forget the lure of Australian basketball, where Disney Plus has teamed up with the NBL's other major sponsor, gambling platform Dabble.
Here we go, dabblers.
Are you guys riding this bet?
Massive scenes in the feed right here.
Check out his bet history.
Imagine what you could be buying instead.
Yes, live sport in the modern era where athletic prowess is no match for blokes watching each other bet on their phones. And which happens to provide a nice little earner, not for the punters, of course, but for Disney, because the entertainment behemoth, with its 3.3 million Aussie subscribers, has for months been streaming the very same daytime ads for bookies and gambling platforms that free-to-air television stations are prohibited from showing.
No gambling advertising or promotion of odds is permitted from 5 minutes before the published scheduled start of play until 5 minutes after play, including during breaks.
Rules which exist?
To protect children who may be watching or listening.
OK, so that's free-to-air television, but what do the rules say about live streaming sport over the internet?
No gambling advertising or promotion of odds is permitted, including during breaks.
And yet, here we are. Because since March this year, when Disney Plus launched to great fanfare its inclusion of sport channel ESPN, it's played host to bookie after bookie all through the day. So how exactly is Disney getting away with this? As it turns out, ESPN on Foxtel was several years ago given a special exemption from the daytime ban on gambling ads because it was deemed to have so low an audience share. Now, Disney is claiming because it's simply simulcasting Foxtel's ESPN feed, it too should be exempted from the rules. The company told us
advertising on ESPN channels on pay TV, including on simulcast digital feeds of the channels on Disney Plus, is compliant with all applicable regulations and codes.
Yes, those clever people at Disney have discovered a loophole, and through it they're driving a pumpkin coach full of cash, which media strategist Steve Allen estimates amounts to as much as an additional $200,000 a month. Meanwhile, Disney Plus's open arms approach to gambling advertising drew this peace of mind from advocate Tim Costello.
It's a disgrace. Disney, the maker of the world's most loved kids' movies, is now ramming ads for an adult product down kids' throats. Carve-outs like this just make it a joke.
The Australian Communications and Media Authority has told us it's now asking questions of Disney.
The ACMA is concerned about Disney Plus's practice, and we are urgently seeking additional information from the company about whether its practices align with community expectations.
We also asked the Minister for Communications, Annika Wells, what she is going to do about it. Turns out, not a thing. Instead, handballing it to the regulator. For years now, the Albanese government has ducked for cover on the community's growing disquiet about the infiltration of bookies into its beloved pastime of watching sport on the telly, because mum and dad can but sit there as their kids are fed a steady diet of odds and picks and point spreads. And ignoring this latest jig by a company that once preferred to show Mickey Mouse to children is just another betrayal of voters in service to the big end of town. And before we go, a quick note to mark the passing of a giant of Australian radio, John Laws, who died yesterday, aged 90. All day today, he was being lauded by all and sundry for his contribution to public debate. But the Golden Tonsils was also famous for providing this program its greatest moment, as then host Richard Ackland explained in our 20th anniversary special.
Cash for Comment was a whole subterranean world of opinions, views, messages, declamatory statements being offered to the public in exchange for money.
John Laws was the first big fish exposed by Media Watch's Gold Walkley-winning investigation into Cash for Comment.
So here's how it works. The bank makes $2.2 billion profit.
the bank closes branches, the bank loses 2,500 staff. And then they do it all over again.
But then there was this magnificent flip.
You know, we do forget sometimes when we criticise them that banks are made up of people. So there you are. See, banks make very big profits. But are they unreasonable about it? Maybe not, when you know the whole story.
Making hay for commercial radio, the banks and Media Watch all at once. What a trifecta. And that's all from us tonight. Be sure to check us out on ABC iView, as well as YouTube, Facebook and X. You can find full statements on our website, and don't forget to send us your tips. I'll see you next week.